I'll try to like jump over these details real quick, but like, so basically she impressed the hell out of me, and I had already committed to seeing my other friends, Shamans, at a place called Spiritual Dimensions, like 3 days later. Like, and he had spoken so highly of this couple as well. So I had these two people that I was like, wow, like Donna Otilia and Javier and Jessica at Spiritual Dimensions, and I was just like really excited to sit with all of them. And so we were all committed to going back to Quitos. We went after this mind-blowing thing, and she was like, yeah, you're going to want to die one day. And I was like, sure, sign me up. I'll be back in like, and I've set up some dates with her. And by the way, she speaks only Spanish, and I don't speak very much at all.
Oh, man, that must have been hard.
It was a total, but my friend had been translating in that first round. So we were able to kind of get through it, the first round, lay the groundwork. I had Google Translate. I was, and my friend set the tone so that when I came back, she was like, okay, I know you don't speak Spanish, and we'll figure it out. Anyway, so I went then with my friends a few days later to this center called Spiritual Dimensions in Pachacodre, Pacha. I can't remember exactly the name of the island. It's like a half-hour boat ride from Iquitos, up north, actually kind of behind it, northwest. And this is the first time I had like some visions. This couple had been sitting together for many, many, many years. They had a center. It was beautiful. And they sang the most incredible songs. And they actually that night had like some other friends of family. It was like, we had like 6 ayahuasqueros sitting with us. It was mind-blowing. And it was like getting a tour of, what's so interesting is I'd been sitting all these times hearing these icarus, right? When you do ayahuasca, for anyone new, when you do ayahuasca, you sit in a room with a couple of shamans or ayahuasqueros, curanderos. They give you this brew, which we'll go into, I guess, later. But they give you a brew, and you drink it once, twice, not usually, but sometimes 3 times. And they sing songs throughout this. You're sitting there on your mat or lying down, depending on what you're dealing with. And they sing songs, and those songs actually activate the ayahuasca in your system and sort of help direct it, help shift your energy, help facilitate healing. And so these guys were just mind-blowing in their singing, and I finally started seeing visuals, and I feel like I got to take a tour of like the world of ayahuasca, which is this, there's so many versions of it, but I have one that it's just like this funny, cartoony, magical, fluorescent colors, like just mind-blowing. And so Javier also diagnosed me with this pulsario condition, the same thing Donna Otilia told me. And I was like, fuck yeah, okay, good. We've got like, and so then I actually, and as a filmmaker, I was documenting all this. So I'm turning this all, I can't wait to like cut this into a film. But half of this is on my iPhone, half of this is on my nice C1, well, it was a C100 at the time, but, and I ended up going to their hospital and being getting out validation of the cyst, and I thought pulsario actually was ulcer, so because of the Spanish translation and all of that, but pulsario is its own thing that I've tried to Google since, and I can't find much information on. But anyway, ultimately it's like I ended up staying with both the shamans, doing a week with Donna Otilia and a week with the folks at Spiritual Dimensions. With Donna Otilia, I was in seclusion by myself, filming, talking about my stories, writing stuff down, trying to understand them. One day she gave me the medicine. It was like I wanted to die. I was just running the bathroom left, all the time and really lightheaded. And she was like, "You're pulsario." At the end, we drank one ayahuasca. The rest of it was non-mind altering. It was just seclusion, flower baths, and drinking these plant medicines. And she was like, "Your pulsario was like this big," and I just think it was a big plate. And she's like, "Now it's this big," and she's like, "You're not gonna be able to have chocolate or alcohol for like a year or 2 years, and then you can get rid of it." And I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me! I can't do that," and then I went to the Spiritual Dimensions guys, and sat with them and like. We did some spiritual surgery. We did I think it was 3 or 4 ceremonies, and I had done a bunch of different plants in that week. And there were some other people with me, and I shared their stories. I filmed that as well. And the pulsario got smaller and smaller. And I think actually then coming back here, after that I became certified to be a Kundalini Yoga teacher. My work with the medicines really, and the Kundalini Yoga, I think these two things both work to like really release a lot of this trauma. I believe we store our trauma in our bodies on a physical level, like on a cellular level. If you read anything about epigenetics now, it's just like the science is super concrete there to back it up in the most exciting way ever. And so if we store it in our, like animals, when they get into a fight with another animal, they have a little seizure afterwards to release the adrenaline. And I
didn't know that.
Yeah, you can watch it on the Nature Channel. They just shake it out afterwards, right? Humans, we're like, oh honey, don't be sad, don't be angry, don't cry. We like shame we tell our kids that these so-called negative emotions are bad and to not have them. And so we're not taught how to process these harder emotions. And then we wonder why people are super disconnected and fucked up. It's like we're totally disconnected from these things, and I think those hard emotions are there to provide us information, and they're meant to be experienced. They make us wise, they make us intelligent, but when we push them down and we repress them, I think we end up just blocked up entirely. And this is, I think, the reason why it took me 6, 7, whatever the hell many times it took to get a mental experience with ayahuasca, because I was so blocked up. I had like trauma from childhood.